here, and I haven't done one of these in a long, long time, but I had to do it for this particular movie that got released yesterday as part of Disney Plus Day. It is, of course, the remake of Pinocchio, which stars Tom Hanks, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, a very unrecognizable Luke Evans, and Keegan Michael Kay is the voice of the fox. This version Now, before I go into any details, there may be I'm going to do spoilers as well. So when I do spoilers, I will say spoiler. If you haven't seen it, then I'll stop and then I'll tell you the spoilers because I have to spoil. So this is my non-spoiler review anyway. First of all, so let's go on into the non-spoiler version of the this review. So this version is about Geppetto, played by Tom Hanks, who creates this puppet out of wood, out of white pine wood, and he calls him Pinocchio. And he's got this kind of like little Jiminy Cricket, voiced by Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who is in Treasure Planet, by the way. And he becomes Pinocchio's confidant. So one night, Geppetto wishes that Pinocchio would be a real boy, and the blue fairy, played by Cynthia Navarro, she makes the wish come true, and he becomes this alive puppet. She of course tells him that he can become a real person if he sacrifices his life, like in the original Pinocchio movie. He has to like learn to sacrifice his life for another in order to become a real boy. And of course, like Pinocchio has to learn from right and wrong. But of course, the blue fairy also says, "Oh, you have to yeah, even if you're not real, you're still real. You'll still be real, like from that in the heart, like." So of course, Pinocchio decides to, start becoming a real person by like going to school, and then he gets trapped by this circus called Stromboli, the guy that's over the circus. We also get to witness this new sorry for the waffle, by the way. We also get to witness this new puppet who's like a ballerina, like a colored ballerina. I forgot her name again. And there's also a new character called Sophia, voiced by Lorraine Brasco from The Sopranos. She voices a seagull, who sort of helps Geppetto save Pinocchio, of course. And yeah. Is there anything else I can say? I'm sorry for waffling, by the way. Is there anything else I can say without spoiling it first? Um, yeah. Oh, yeah. There's also, if you want to know, is the donkey scene in this movie where like the kids turn to donkeys? It is. It's in this version as well. It's kind of different than the cartoon one, and I will go to the cartoon differences in the spoiler review of this in a few minutes. But yeah, that's my non-spoiler part. Overall, I enjoyed the sequel, or not the sequel, this reboot is as good as the original one. Honestly, it's not, but it's still an enjoyable movie. And the reason why I watched it was because I'm a fan of Tom Hanks. I grew up watching all of his movies, from Splash to Big to Catch Me If You Can. I mean, he's a terrific actor. He was actually terrible in Elvis. I did do a review of Elvis, I think. If I didn't, I will do a review of Elvis as well. But he was terrible in Elvis. This one, he wasn't bad. He was good as Geppetto. Luke Evans is good too. I barely even recognized him. I was saying to myself, "Where's Luke Evans?" And of course, he plays an unrecognizable coachman with like the black hair and the black mustache and the black beard and the false teeth, and it was Luke Evans. But yeah, it's a good sequel. It's a good remake. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Now to spoilers. Thank God for spoilers. Okay, so we discover in this one that Geppetto, I think, had a son, I think, because he has this photo of a boy, and the blue fairy like saw the photo, and the photo mirrored the puppet, and then the two of them kind of like clashed, and then Pinocchio comes alive. I think Geppetto had a son in this one that passed away. I'm not too sure, but it looked that way to me. Also in this version, do you know the way in the cartoon one, Pinocchio becomes a real boy in the end? Like the whale scene where Pinocchio and Geppetto are like trapped in this inside a whale. And Pinocchio, of course, you think Pinocchio dies, and then of course Geppetto, then you hear the blue face said, "Oh, now your wish comes true," and Geppetto was grieving over the death of Pinocchio, supposedly the death of Pinocchio, and then Pinocchio becomes a flesh, like a human, like with flesh and all. This one, however, takes a spin, and instead of Pinocchio becoming a real boy, Geppetto somehow dies, and Pinocchio can cry like real tears. And then in the end, like Geppetto's alive, and they see this blue light, and they go into the blue light, and then Jimmy Cricket's like, although he wasn't a human, he's still a real boy, like to Geppetto. And then that was it. And also, the blue fairy is only in the very beginning, and you never see it ever again. The same way with like the likes of the fairy godmother and Cinderella, she like disappears in 10 minutes. But yeah, that's the twist in this one. I was kind of disappointed in the ending because I was kind of saying to myself, okay, so we all know Pinocchio. He turns into this. He comes to life by this blue fairy. He has to learn right from wrong, like I said in my non-spoiler review. Then he, of course, becomes a real boy in the end, and that was it. And this one, they're like Robert Zemeckis, by the way, who directed Back to the Future, the remake of The Witches. He also did Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Yes, Who Framed Roger Rabbit. He directed that film as well, and The Polar Express, which is very, very good. And the screenplay is also done by Robert Zemeckis and Chris Wetz, who also did the screenplay for Cinderella. But yeah, I was actually disappointed in the ending because I literally thought that you'd see Pinocchio, like you'd see the blue fairy again. She goes, "Oh, now the deed is done. Now you become a real boy." Next thing, bing, and then he becomes a real boy. This one, he doesn't become a real boy at all, and I was kind of disappointed. I was kind of like, seriously, Disney, what the fuck? Sorry for my language, by the way, for my profanity. But I was like, what the fuck? Shouldn't Pinocchio become a real boy? It'd be the same way in Beauty and the Beast if the Beast became a beast in the end, or if Cinderella like never had a glass slippers and they both broke, and then the prince would be like, "Ah, you're the one I don't want to marry," or entangled if Rapunzel's hair grew like 70 feet of brown hair in the end, whatever. But yeah, is it as bad as Mulan? No, it's not. The remake of Mulan was absolutely shit. I did like this one. It's probably my top 20, I'm afraid, because it's not quite up there. Like it's not as good in my honest opinion as the cartoon one. But having said that, I liked it. It got a 28% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, which is a bit of a shocker. But yeah, is it as good as Aladdin, Cinderella, Beauty and the Beast? No, it's not. But still, I give it. Do you know what? I give it 3 out of 5 stars. I enjoyed it, like I said. And yeah, have you seen Pinocchio, the remake? What do you think about it? Did you like it? Did you hate it? What upcoming Disney movies are you looking forward to? For me, and I said this before, it's Disenchanted, so I'm hoping that'll be good. But yeah, that's my review of Pinocchio 2022, and yeah, till next time, take care and see you soon.